welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Eierstein. Thank you all for joining me again today for the daily reading from James Allen's Daily Meditation. We'll be doing the reading, obviously, for June 10th, and I'm really, again, looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to all of June so far. It's been just an absolutely fantastic month, and so I'm excited to see where it brings us. So yesterday ended with, the one yesterday I think was great as well. Just a reminder that all of our character is based on of habits that we started one day, and I think he said enlist ourselves in the service of a higher power, something bigger than ourselves, and something we find that the willingness to change. So it's a pretty incredible thing. And so we'll see what June 10th brings us. It's going to be fresh to you and fresh to me, of course, meaning that you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. So here we go. This is June 10th's Daily Meditation from James Allen. By thoughts, a man binds himself. It is true that man is the instrument of mental forces, or to be more accurate, he is those forces. But they are not blind, and he can direct them into new channels. In a word, he can take himself in hand and reconstruct his habits. For though it is also true that he is born with a given character, that character is the product of numberless lives during which it has been slowly built up by choice and effort. And in this life, it will be considerably modified by new experiences. No matter how apparently helpless a man has become under the tyranny of a bad habit or a bad characteristic, and they are essentially the same, he can, so long as sanity remains, break away from it and become free. A changed attitude of mind changes the character, the habits, the life. This is an expansion from yesterday. A changed attitude of mind changes the character, the habits, the life. Such a good one. I like this. I like this encouragement. I like this understanding that, this is really just all up to us, isn't it? This is really just all up to how we're going to, what we're going to address and what we want to change. Well, then I guess it also comes down eventually to what we're willing to change to, right? So let's go ahead and do this line by line. By thought, man binds himself. So your thoughts dictate your habits, right? Your deeds, right? And a man will always have thoughts, right? It's just kind of par for the course here. So if those things are true, you have to choose what you are going to bind your thoughts to, right? I think that's the key. Are we going to bind them to negativity? Are we going to bind them to positive things? Are we going to bind them to victimization? Are we going to bind them to empowerment? Or how are we going to, what thoughts are we going to entertain? What thoughts are we going to begin to grow through, right? That's important. You will have thoughts, and your actions and deeds will reflect your thoughts. So the option isn't to be unbound from thought. It is more so, it's kind of like we were talked about a couple of days ago. I think it was 2 or 3, where it's man is by nature is a creature of habits, and we can't change that. That's human nature. So we have to just change the habits instead of changing our nature. So we can change our thoughts, since our thoughts dictate our actions. Same kind of idea. It is true that man is the instrument of mental forces, or to be more accurate, he is those forces, right? Like, again, that's just expanding on what we just were talking about. It is true that man is the instrument of mental forces, or to be more accurate, he is those forces, but they are not blind, and he can direct them into new channels. There we go. The power of choice. It's right there. We get to choose how we direct them, is how we put this. And he can direct them into new channels. What channels are we directing our thoughts to? Which turns into a force and turns into action, right? That's all within our power. In a word, he can take himself in hand and reconstruct his habits. Very plain, straightforward, unquestioning, unwavering. We can reconstruct our habits. For though it is also true that he is born with a given character, that character is the product of numberless lives during which it has been slowly built up by choice and effort, and in this life it will be considerably modified by new experiences. Now, I think there's probably a couple of different ways you can read that. The two that pop into my head is people could construe that as one soul living multiple lives, which might be true, or you could construe it as, I know I've lived multiple lives in just this body, right? So the things that served me when I was a child didn't serve me as well when I was a teenager. The things that served me as a teenager will not serve me now. Things that served me as a college student will not serve me now, and my 20s will not serve me. When I'm at the beginning of my sobriety, do not serve me now. So my character has been created and dictated over the course of many lifetimes in just the one body that I've had, right? That me in this immediate setup, let's say, right? This body, this mind, this soul has gone through multiple reincarnations of who he is. So our character was born from these past lives, from all the people we've interacted with during those lives, however you want to look at it. It will be considerably modified by new experiences. So what we do going forward from this very day will change and modify our character. Because all those things can be changed, and you can grow in all of those areas. Now so this next one's really, really cool. No matter how apparently helpless a man has become under the tyranny of a bad habit or a bad characteristic, and they are essentially the same, he can, so long as sanity remains, break away from it and become free. So any habit you can change, that you want to change, that's causing you pain, that's causing you anguish, that's causing your life to become unmanageable, that's causing insanity into your life, drama, as it's called today, into your life, right? Any and all of those can be changed. It's pretty amazing. And for me, I felt like a pretty hopeless drug addict. I didn't think I was ever going to have the ability to change that. I didn't think I was ever going to have the ability to grow through that at all, ever, period. Which is very sad. And now looking back on it, because I thought I was at the end of the road. I thought I was always going to be a slave to those. I was the tyranny of those bad habits, I would always serve my addiction because I thought I needed it. I thought I needed it to exist. Thank God I was wrong. Like, and he throws in the bad habit or bad characteristic, and they're essentially the same, which is true. Their characteristics are just well-trodden habits. He can, so long as sanity remains, break away from become free. So there's hope for anybody, overeating, gambling, sex, people that just have depression, anxiety. We can change these things. Once you grasp that power that you have the ability to change these things in your life will change. Believe me, it's a powerful time when you can get to that point. And it's worth pursuing. It just absolutely is worth pursuing. And he finishes it up here. A changed attitude of mind changes the character, the habits, the life. That's what we're talking about. This whole thing. That's what the whole thing was talking about today. A changed attitude of mind changes the character, the habits, the life. We can mold and shape and grow our character when we do that. Well, through the changed habits, through the changed actions, through the changed mindset and perspective. And that gives us a changed life. Regardless of what it is, regardless of where we're coming from, we can have a changed life. What a beautiful, beautiful blessing and promise that is. What an amazing place to be with that. What an amazing understanding to have or experience to be able to reference and leverage. So, well, all right. That will finish us up for the day. Thank you all for joining me again for another reading by James Allen. It's been an incredible ride, and I'm just very grateful for everyone jumping on and listening and following us on Facebook and give us a like. And just the experience this has been so far. So I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. And we'll be back tomorrow. Until next time. Thanks.